Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister to meet with trade unions on the eve of a planned national shutdown, and in sport, West Indies and South Africa to clash at the Kensington Oval in the ICC Women's Championship. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, September 5th. I'll be back with the details after the break. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has agreed to meet with trade union leaders on the eve of a planned national shutdown. The meeting will take place at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and Labour leaders will again try to convince the Prime Minister against a shutdown of the refinery at the state-owned oil company Petrotrin. Now, if those efforts fail, the unions will go ahead with its day of rest and reflection. And it has warned government not to try to stop workers from participating. In fact, President of the Public Services Association, Watson Duke, has sent a warning to Public Administration Minister Marlene MacDonald, who earlier this week discouraged citizens from taking what she said would be irresponsible and injudicious action.
I want to say to Marlene, if you disregard the law and you want to play your henchman for your boss, Rowley, you will have something coming at you.
And according to President of the Public Services Association, Watson Duke, there's a strong possibility that could be legal action. On Monday, Minister of Public Administration Marlene MacDonald issued a statement to public servants to discourage government service employees from participating in the union's day of rest and reflection. The minister reminded workers of the consequences for staying off work, including fines and imprisonment. But the man who represents public servants on the Labour front says there are laws that protect workers.
Under Section 85 of the Civil Service Regulations, all officers, public officers, police, prisons, etc., civil servants, they are entitled, they have a right to 14 days sick leave.
And he says Section 14 of the Minimum Wages Act also provides the same.
That report from CNC3's Ria Rambly. But Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says his administration will take legal action against any civil aviation worker who answers the union's call. And the Ministry of Education has warned teachers that engaging in sympathy strike action is illegal and they will face punitive action if they do. Speaking at a public meeting of his People's National Movement last night, Rowley urged civil aviation workers to disregard the strike call. He reminded them that the law states that essential services should not be involved in industrial action, and if workers do so, they will be breaking the law. Similar advice was given to the country's teachers by Minister of Education Anthony Garcia.
Reporting to work on Friday, they will face the consequences.
Section 69 of the Industrial Relations Act prohibits members of the teaching service from taking part in industrial action. Any member of the teaching service who takes part in industrial action in contravention of Section 69 of the Act is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $500 and to imprisonment for 3 months.
Regulations which opens them up to further disciplinary action.
Any member of the teaching service who engages in illegal industrial action by absenting himself or herself from work without leave on the 7th of September 2018 will not be paid for that day.
Over in Guyana now, Minister of State Joseph Harmon says government is committed to working with the union representing teachers in a bid to end the strike that has affected the normal functioning of schools. Teachers have embarked on a strike action to press for a 40% wage hike and incremental 5% salary increases for the period 2017 to 2020. The David Granger government is offering $700 million Guyana dollars to cover across-the-board increases and $200 million for debunching. Now, Harmon says the teacher's place is in the classroom and government will have to work with the union to find common ground to get the educators back where they belong. He said there were no benefits to be gained from arguing in the streets and the parties had to speak to and not at each other. The Ministry of Education has employed some retired and student teachers to fill the void caused by the industrial action. But Vice President of the Guyana Teachers Union, Leslyn Collins, says teachers have abandoned their classrooms and he's predicting that many more schools will be closed in the coming days. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
I could work as hard and eat as much as a man when
If you got beauty, then raise them up, 'cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom.
I think the performance dipped a bit, so it's a 4 from me.
Orville, John style. No. The first thing is the costume, them not do nothing, them not say nothing.
How should the system look at this now as we talk about this issue of reforming prisons, citizen reform? Start with you.
I'd like for people's attitudes about marijuana to change, not because of any personal reasons, but I think that the system is overutilizing resources on a narcotic that is a plant, that is not a gateway drug. The science has proven this. I think that states that have legalized it is now 9 and DC.
Kensington Oval will play host to the West Indies' next outing in the ICC Women's Championship beginning later this month. West Indies take on South Africa in the first one-day international on September 16th before following up with matches on September 19th and the 22nd. Now, the three ODIs are part of a tour which will see West Indies clash with South Africa in a 5-match T20 international series at the Brian Lara Stadium in Trinidad from September 24th to October 6th. The series against South Africa is one of 2 home series for the Windies before they defend their title in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup from November 9th to the 24th in Guyana, St. Lucia and Antigua, with India also expected to arrive in early October. West Indies currently lie 5th on 6 points in the 8th team championship standings after sweeping Sri Lanka 3-0 in the Caribbean last October and then going down by a similar margin to New Zealand last March. South Africa is 1 from bottom on 4 points. And Barbados Trident sank to another low last night, losing their 6th straight game, this time to St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in match 26 of the Caribbean Premier League in Basseterre. Batting first at Warner Park, the Tridents put on 168 for 5 of 20 overs, with Nicholas Puran as the top scorer with 44, while Dwayne Smith chipped in with 26. Roston Chase added an unbeaten 38, and Captain Jason Holder also remained not out on Thursday on 30. Tabriz Shamsi was the pick of the bowling with 2 for 16. In reply, a superb half-century from Jamaican batsman Fabian Allen paved the way for victory for the Patriots. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.